Hello everyone, and welcome back to another video. Today I'm going to explain why anarcho-capitalism is actually anti-capitalistic. So this may come as a surprise to some people who hear this for the first time and have a decent understanding of what anarcho-capitalism is. They think, oh, but anarcho-capitalists are always advocate for capitalist ideas, and Murray Rothbard was considered as like the anarcho-capitalist intellectual. And he was considered to be really capitalistic. These guys are just super pro-capitalist and super pro non-intervention of governments in the markets. However, this is not true. What anarcho-capitalism does, it ultimately will destroy capitalism by not monopolizing force. The main issue with anarcho-capitalism is that they advocate for a market in force, a market in things like police, military, all that sort of stuff, which, and as an objectivist, I would advocate should be governmental functions. So this idea of a market in force is just basically comes from the idea that capitalism does all these other things super efficiently because of like the human mind, all that sort of stuff. Although I don't think the anarcho-capitalists really argue the same way for capitalism that objectivists do. But they say that capitalism does all these things so efficiently, and so why can't it do police as efficiently, or military as efficiently, or other things in the realm of force as efficiently? Well, the main reason is because capitalism, a market, requires the absence of force. Because what force does is it limits the human mind. It tells people that they can only think and act a certain way. And when you begin to allow a market in force and allow force to be as efficient as possible, which is what markets ultimately do, that leads to initiation of force, and it gets rid of the standards, this idea of an ideal government as getting rid of force, or extracting force out of a society by monopolizing it. Because a proper a government that I would advocate for as an objectivist would be one that is governed by rule of law and that protects human rights and only uses force to take force out of society when other people initiate it in society. However, without this big monopoly on force that prevents other like smaller force companies, which ultimately that's a fucking revolution or a group trying to overthrow the government. That's what that means when they say these smaller groups that are like force companies. That's basically just another form of government. Like ultimately that's what arises out of an anarcho-capitalist system. It would be a new government, but it's just not called a government. So therefore it's not no, that's stupid. Because what happens in anarcho-capitalism is rule by force. So whoever is the most powerful, whoever is the strongest, whoever can use force the best, ultimately runs the society, determines its laws, and has all the power. Now, what we need to advocate for is for a government that prevents this sort of rule of force. We need an objective government that will... Now, we don't have that at the moment, but it would still be better, right, what we have now than an anarcho-capitalistic system, because it's just the question of who can use the most force. That's the group that gets to the top. It doesn't make any fucking sense if you just any of their arguments that they make that these companies would compete and all that sort. What does a competition in force look like? That's a fucking war. It doesn't make any fucking sense, these anarcho-capitalist ideas of a market in force, because the primary reason is because the market requires the elimination of force to allow the human mind to innovate and develop for itself. And saying that the market can be involved in force is such an incoherent concept, because a market and force don't go together. The purpose of a government is to extract force from a market. So yeah, ultimately, now I think I'm just repeating myself at this point, so I think that's all I have to say for today. Thank you guys for watching, and I hope to see you guys in the next video. Peace.